Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. Today, I'm very excited. I have a special guest, but for those of you that have never heard and you're just listening to this podcast, or maybe you're watching us on the YouTube channel, gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much. This is the place where you come to hear tips and tricks to rock your six-figure biz and to hear inspiring stories and to put voices to all the Latinas, the mujerpreneurs that have gone from surviving to thriving so that you can be your best self. As it is my legacy to leave a trail of Latina leaders behind me. And I'm so excited today. And as your host, Marti Angel, for this Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, gracias por estar aquí. Today, I have a beautiful guest. And guess where she's coming in from? She's coming in from Brazil. So it's so amazing. Today I get to interview Simone. Let me just share a little bit about her. Simone is an independent filmmaker, a video conference educator, and the list can go on and on and on. But more than anything, she is a fellow social curator. And I am pleased and very honored to have Simone on the show, on the Mujer de Éxito. Gracias por estar aquí. You are so beautiful. Simone, tell us a little bit about the weather. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Y cómo está el
Calor.
clima?
Hace calor aquí, Brasil, es verano. It's hot. I've been lucky. It hasn't been that bad because it's summer here. We are in South America, so it's summer now. I usually it's very hot at this time of the year, but it's been okay. It's been all right. We're having a lot of rain. So it's nice. It's nice to be here. I'm home away from home because now I have two homes. I have my home in the US, Florida, and I have my always home in Brazil. Even though I don't have my original home here, being with my mom, my family, it's always feels home. So I love being here and just walking around the city. I feel a little bit of a tourist, but I also feel home because it changes. It changes a lot over time. It was like a smaller city. Now it's growing so much, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be here and wonderful to be here with you and everybody that's watching this. Thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Thank you. And for those of you that don't know where I am in sunny San Diego. Okay, so she's in Brazil. What city or town are you in right now?
So one thing people always get surprised when they say I'm from Brazil, like, oh, you don't look Brazilian, you look like European. They feel like Polish or everything else, like East European. The city I come from, it's called Blumenau. It's a city colonized by Germans. So my background is German. So that's how like the light skin, and the city looks very Germanic with the Germanic culture and lots of beauties they try to keep the way. So if I share some pictures, you're going to see like, oh, she's like in Germany. But I'm in Brazil. So south of Brazil has a lot of European colonies, so it's very different from what people expect from Brazil, São Paulo, Rio, or north of Brazil. Very different. Brazil is big. It's
Right.
There's a lot of different culture here.
Wow. Yeah. So that's another thing we have in common. So my mom is also blonde hair and blue eyes, also coming in from Germany, had German grandparents as well. So, and she was, they colonized over there in Guadalajara, and there was a big town of, German immigrants. So that's where her grandparents came from, Germany over there. So so we have that in common. European.
Yes, that's wonderful. And one thing I believe that happens to you too, like when I have so much mixed this culture about Brazil and German, they're like, I love so much the German culture, the food, the music, like the folk, like, dancing, and Oktoberfest. Like Blumenau has the biggest Oktoberfest after Munich. So it's like
Oh,
18
wow.
days in October. So it's really crazy here. That's history behind that, but I'm not gonna tell about today. But also when I hear samba, bossa nova, it's just like it's on my skin. I start dancing. It's just like I never had like samba lesson or like anything of those music, but I know how to samba. It's just kind of it's in my skin, it's my body, and I love it. I love it. So I think it comes with living in Brazil. You get all this richness of culture here, and feijoada from Brazil, my favorite food.
Ah, yes. How amazing is that? I'm so happy that that I get to share a little bit more about Brazil with you, or you get to share with us, the listeners. I do have, I do have a question. I know that you are an entrepreneur of sorts. Tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about, what is it like to be an independent filmmaker, and how did you get started?
It's a very interesting story because I never dreamed of it in any sort of like way or form be involved with filmmaking. I always loved films. I always loved going to the movies, and like even when I was by myself alone, I would go to the movies, just watch movies. I love watching movies, and going to the movie theater because it's always a different experience on the big screen. And then I met my ex-husband, and he was in the process of going to the US to study filmmaking because this was like 20 years ago. There wasn't so much of easy access to the digital filmmaking that we have nowadays. And in the US was more open for independent filmmaking than it was in Brazil. So he said, well, it's going to be easy if I go there and try there. So when he started doing, I went with him to the US. He ended up needing a little bit help. So I started doing pre-production, working on the pre-production and getting the things ready, and then the rental, the schedule, all the stuff behind the whole production. Then after he did this full short film that was successful, went to many film festivals, won many awards, he set his mind to do a feature film. Then the same way I helped him with this pre-production, getting the things ready, getting the schedule, the actors, all the things set. We have dates, places, everything to film the film. It's a comedy, long feature comedy. Then the cinematographer, just I think a month before, or like 2 months before we started filming, he said he wouldn't be able to do it, and was like too short notice for us to get somebody that would allow us to get into this project with such a low budget because we were paying for everything. So talking about it, and I always loved filming or photography. I already had like a photography course. We saw there was like a workshop about digital photography. And they said, well, if you try for me to go do this workshop, the workshop runner was the cinematographer of the Saturday Night Live films. Saturday Night Live, they always do some short stories, like the whole story filmmaking. So he was doing this one. And when I went there, was so perfect. Was like a serendipitous moment because the equipment he was using was the one that we were getting for our film. So everything worked out fine. So I had the study, and I ended up being the cinematographer of the feature film. So then changed everything for me because I went from being like, even when production film was like a little different, I was already experiences the whole way we make films. It's so different when you go and just watch. You start like, I told my ex-husband, like, you run films for me because I would just go watch stories and I wouldn't care like all the actors, the preparation, all the mess behind. But once you start working on this, like, oh, there's so much preparation. So when I was doing this and being behind the camera, I was seeing the transformation. I was having the experiences. My first seeing, I was the first one to see in the camera lines how the actors would transform, how they bring the stories to life. And then fast forward, we started doing some documentaries. And then I was seeing how people with no experience on camera or movie would just join, would be like so much willing to share story when they're talking about somebody else's story, or they are sharing some pieces of story that people with we're doing a documentary, and then we have people talking about this person that we're doing the documentary. So when they are talking about them, they're not caring, they're not thinking about the camera that's filming, because they have a story, they have something they're sharing. So
Mhm.
I saw this, how all this transformation. And then going forward, when we moved, at that time we were in New York and New Jersey, and then we moved to Florida for many personal reasons. Um, and then I wanted to help a small business, like women-owned business, to bring their stories to life, to bring the business stories, not in a regular way, or just talking about the products, the way we see commercials. No, I want you to talk about your business. I want to do a little story about the business. And then I was just getting ready to do that, and then the pandemic came. So there's all transformation behind this, but like always going, looking for ways to get involved with women and moms to share stories. So then it's like going online and searching and sharing stories in a different way. But then I realized that when I wanted people to tell stories online, it's different, because it's different than me going there and talking to them, and then I have them relax to tell stories and having them to record stories. So say, so now we have a different moment in my life on the filming and the stories. I needed to find a way to get these people to come on camera and share stories, but I wasn't doing that. I
Mm.
wasn't doing the camera. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid. I was so self-conscious of my accent, of my facial features, or the way I was moving, the way I was presenting myself on camera, because it's so different when you're working, you're getting these people ready. And now I needed to prepare myself. So I was,
Mm.
but I took a decision and I said, well, to be able to do that, I have to be the one to be on camera and start talking to these people, because that's what I want them to do. And I practiced a lot. I did a lot. I was just like, I was so, first I was like, oh, I'm so fearless. I'm just going to go and do it. But like after a while, I was like, no, I'm doing scared. I'm just doing it. I'm like just stepping in and take some deep breath and just doing scared. So that I started this whole situation of finding a way to encourage myself to do it. And then I was, when I was sharing the message and I was telling these people, every message was a message to myself. It was
Ah.
like a little message say, you can do it. You
Mm.
just go on the camera. It's like I'm talking to someone, but that someone was me. And I
Mm.
was keep making this video. I was like, and I was listening to the message again. I was like, yes, I can do it. And then I started feeling encouraged by the fact that I was doing. And then I was just keep doing, keep doing. And then now that I feel more ready, now that I was like doing more, and I was sharing this message, and I found the ways that we can present ourselves, we can feel more confident. And also because throughout this whole step, and what also was holding me back, Marty, was the fact that I'm very technical. I knew the technical part, I knew the editing, I knew the behind the camera, so I wanted to be perfect.
Mm.
I was like, oh, if the light is not this, if this is not that, it's not gonna work. And
Mm.
then I also switched my mind. I had like a mindset, like a mind frame change. I don't know, not sure if I have the right word right now, but I switched the way I was thinking. I was like,
Mm.
I need to focus on the message. I need to focus on what I want to share. Of course, I want to make sure I present myself nicely. I get sufficient light, sufficient way to present the sound, everything working, the video working. But today, like I started doing the videos. I wanted to do my video camera. Like, no, I'm just gonna use my cell phone. The cell phone camera is
Mm.
still good right now. So I just started like using with my hands. Then I was like moving too much. They got a tripod, or like just put it in some place. Or like I was working, finding a way, finding the best light in my house. So I was taking notes what was working. And I
Mhm.
said, well, now I can teach people how to do that, how to come on camera, and how to present themselves. Like, so that with doing all this process, I found a passion that is helping women to come on camera and share the story of the business, that they don't need somebody coming with the camera to their home, to their places, and film them. They can learn how to do themselves, because you can have a film crew and come to your place and film you for a couple of days and then you have this package. But what happened next? What happened when something else happens in your business or something else happens in your life? How do you keep talking to the people or your audience? I think I went already too far from your question, but I love this so much. I just got carried on.
Well, that's beautiful. That's exactly yesterday. As a Latina biz coach, what I share with people on the stories is that that confidence, that it's okay, whatever it is that you do. But I hear you. So that confidence is so necessary. For me, I was an educator. Many years of education from elementary school all the way to college, and I was an administrator, and I've always spoken in front of people. I'm a speaker. I've spoken in front of 5,000, audience. I can speak, I can see, and I know how to work it. I know how to work an audience live. I know how to read the students. I know how to know if my teaching, if my education is meeting them. But then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and I went from being in front of the class to being in front of my computer.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, people were like, "Oh, you should be a natural at it." Oh, and it was like I finally figured out why I hated it so much. And that was because you mentioned earlier, a perfectionist. So I went from being able to read my audience and look out and speak on what it was, not having to worry about what I looked like, right? It was mostly reading, and I would bounce, off and change and lift my intonation or whatever it was based on what the reactionary audience was, right? Well, I didn't have that. And so I went, and it was like, oh, I'm looking at me. Oh my God, my nose looks big. Maybe I need a nose job. Oh my God, my cheeks. Oh my gosh, I'm going to need a facelift, a neck lift, something I got, and it was like
All the
so
things.
distracting, so distracting. And it was like, it wasn't until one day I woke up and I said, you know why? Because I'm looking at myself and I'm so critical of myself that's why I still to this day struggle with doing lives. I love doing this because I'm looking at you and I'm talking and doing all this. I'm getting better at it because of the podcast is on, live on Coach Marti Angel YouTube channel. But I really could have used you at the beginning because it was like, oh lordy, and it was like, oh my gosh, I need this and I need that, and I need, and I need better makeup, and I need better lighting, and I need all of this, and where does the light go? And oh, there's so much to learn. So that's, how you walked into a video conference. I call it a video confidence educator, right? Because you
Yes.
need that confidence. Along those lines, let me ask you a question. A ver, vamos a ver, right? It's bilingual.
That's one pause here about the video camera that I was trying to find a way to come on camera, because with all the time that when it was everything starting online, and we start seeing these reels, these shorts, these trends, TikTok, and then everybody thought they need to be doing this dancing, this pointing, and
Yeah,
I tried that too. I like, oh no, this is not for me. I know I love dancing, but like not the way I needed to present the message that I want to. I
right,
still do something like in a silly way I still share because I love fun. I love fun.
right,
But like no, when I really want to share my message, I don't want to be like pointing and having people to come back and say, oh, what did I miss? If they want to come back is to listen again the message or something. I want to share value. I want to share video that was my. So when I started just coming and talking what I wanted to share, it felt better. It felt myself. And I saw people finding me because they relate to that too. Because oh, I don't like this point. There's this fast videos, these flashings, this stuff, these transitions, and that made me even more confident on what I wanted to do in present, because there's more people that want to do what I want to do, and more people want to learn how to present themselves without having to go to learn to the transitions and all these effects.
Ah, yeah. So let me ask you this. It, you actually teach people or teach mujeres, mostly it sounded like you teach moms,
Yeah.
to feel confident behind the camera, how to feel confident behind the camera so that their videos are good. Is it just moms or who is your target audience?
They are women. They are women. I tell mom because I started with ideas of, because I'm a mom, and was like, I was feeling that when you stay home and take care of the home and take care of the kids, like, it's a whole world that you have behind it, and you have so much to share. And it's not just sharing about the kids, about things. I wanted to get involved with moms for them to tell about them, about their feelings,
Mm.
about what makes them move, what makes them want to do something else with their lives. Not about changing diapers, or the brand of the, the milk that they do, or their breastfeeding, or even, when it's a mom choice. Yes, I want to hear that, but not about about the child care thing. It's more that really about the mom life. I wanted to
Mm,
hear how you managed to go with your life, and because we live so much, like when we are mom, there's so much more than already being a woman. There's so much that we have to go through. When we talk about confidence and coming on video, there's so much to people judge on us when we are women than when there's a man on the camera. So, and when we are mom, we have this extra baggage of, oh, I'm already a mom. I know my weight, and I'm already have a kid. So how many things you have to balance in order to come on camera and feel that your story is valuable, your story matters, that somebody else that just feeling the same thing you're feeling right now, and you sharing that, they're gonna feel so much better in the day. So that's, I started with the moms, but then I said, well, I, as a business wise, it's women. I focus more on bringing women to Cameron, and business women that they want not only to talk about the product, they want to make this more personal, because people are going to remember you when they feel that you shared something that they relate to. If
mm,
you just share about the product, but why is that meaningful? Why,
mm,
that makes a difference.
mhm,
You want to sell this thing, or why you creating
mm,
this? Why is your servers different from the other one? So when you
mm.
put your voice there instead of just putting the servers or just pictures, it makes a difference. You have a more active memory on the people's life by video and sound. So that's
Right.
why I want people to come on camera.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And for
Women,
me,
women. Well, any
yes,
people, but like, I so far they just have women, and I
yeah.
love working with them. I just
That is amazing. That is amazing. You're amazing. So yeah, that is so important. We have that in common as well. I tend to focus on the, giving the Latina and the BIPOC women, mujerpreneurs, the entrepreneurs, giving them a voice where they can come to, creating that safe space where they can share their stories. As a network marketer myself, and a network marketing coach, one of the things that when I bring people on is I share with them and I say, remember that you are the brand, the product that you sell, or the company that you chose to partner with as a network marketer, that's not you. You need to share your voice. And like you said, yeah, you can talk about all the benefits of the product, but people want to know your story. How, why do you take this, right? Why do you, share your story? Don't share all the benefits of the product over here. And
Yeah.
that's so
Even we
important.
can see with, like, just take an example of these actors, these people that is already on the camera. They can do many sketches. They can do many things on camera. But when they share something personal, that goes viral. People go crazy because, oh my gosh, I know something about the personal life. So they're gonna remember, oh, did you know it did that? Like, it's not just because people want to know that. I was hearing, I saved this video, I want to share. I think I didn't share it, of an actress. I don't remember right now the movie that she did. She's a young actress, and somebody asked her why she shares so much of how she's so much on video and sharing the stuff that she does, like, because people want so much to get inside of my life. When I share a lot, they think they already have a lot of my life, so they don't need to ask more. They still have my privacy, still choose what I want to share. But when I share things, me making the makeup and talking where I do the makeup, talking about, that I went to the doctor, my doctor experience, or a few things that she shares on her life, people feel so much like thirst for, like, so much in a personal level. She's not just an actress, she's a person. She's not the actor from the movie, she's a person. And then that's what people want. People want to have a connection, a personal level. And I had this question before. They say, oh, that I talk a lot about having personal connection with your audience. And they say, well, when you have so much people wanting to know and want to connect with you, how are you going to have, personal connection with so many people? You're going to share this personal connection. And if I have 100 followers, let's say, even 100 followers is not going to, I'm not going to have enough time in my life to reach out all of them. But when I'm authentic, when I'm sharing my message in an authentic way for them, for each one of these 100 people, I gonna be genuine. They gonna have a genuine connection with me. Even though I'm not gonna be able to reply to each one of them, I may reply talking to one person, but for each one of them, it's gonna be one message. And they might hear a little bit different, they might hear a little different things, but all the connections are going to be genuine when you are authentic, when you come to the camera without doing all these things that you don't feel comfortable doing, things that you're talking things that is not really what you're feeling, or is not really what you related to. So when you bring these stories, your stories, oh, I don't have stories. Yes, you went to a coffee shop and you had a wonderful coffee that day. Just share that. Start with these simple things, and you start getting used to share simple things that people are gonna love about you, about hearing how you talk, your accent. I used to be so worried, so afraid of my accent. Now I just, oh, okay, that's Simone. That's how she talks.
Ah, okay. So you just said something very important, because I struggle with this all the time, because, you know, y- according to the gurus, you're supposed to share 3 to 5 stories every day. And, and your stories are different from your posts. And I struggle with that. It's like, I'm boring. What do I'm boring. I work from home. I love to cook. So every day at 4 o'clock, I stop what I'm doing. I go in the house. I believe in, cooking fresh and all of that stuff. And then, by the time I'm done I'm the cleaner, right? So I just say, everybody, okay, the chef is in the kitchen. And then after that, okay, the maid is in the kitchen. And, I'm goofing like that. But I'm thinking, what? Nobody really wants to know that. So for people like me, like, let's say that you're talking to me and I say, I really don't have anything to share. Where would you tell me to start sharing? What would you say?
God, Marty, you have so much to share, especially because you are an educator yourself and you experiences so much experiences every week. Because every person that you talk, how many lessons you learn, talk about how they made you feel. That's you're gonna talk. You're gonna tell experience. Oh, I spoke yesterday with Maria. For Maria, there's so many Marias. Maria's always getting this story. And she was talking about, when she went to the place, or when she did it, and that made me remember of their experience that I had, or whatever made you feel at the moment. Or when you have all these stories that you share, all these people that you talk, take the little notes of that after you did that podcast. Oh, this was so wonderful message that I had. So then when you have your content, it's not only the content that you talking to the people, you bringing feedback, or what this conversation made you feel.
Mm,
Whoa, what the feedback you have from this conversation. So you have so much to read. So it happens to me a lot that I have a conversation, that I have the podcast myself, that I need to have so much to put that yet. That's called Mom is Not for Sale. Every time I have a conversation after I finish recording, I go on Instagram, usually Instagram stories, the place that I share the most. And I said, I had this conversation today and this happened. And then I share a little piece of that. Something that, just happened, or the feeling is so raw at the moment. And then I have people interact with me. Oh my God, oh, this is nice. Or they send a DM, or they just like, or even maybe I don't even know. They even don't even tell me what happened, because what happens that I'm experiencing by coming on camera and sharing these stories, this encouragement, these confidence tips. I have people, before I was just like putting family stuff on Facebook. So I have family and friends there a lot. They are seeing my content, but they're not interacting at all. I don't see likes, I don't see comments. I went to a party on early December, and someone came to me and said, I love your content. It's so inspiring. I just love when something new comes and I watch those videos and what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you do. Like, oh my God, I didn't even know this person was watching my content. You don't know who you're touching. You don't know who you're impacting. If you trust your content, if you trust your message, just keep doing. You are impacting someone in a positive way. That's what I'm expecting you to do. I'm expecting you bringing positive message. So you are impacting someone positively and you don't even know it. One day you might know, one day you know, but like it's worldwide. We're here on the internet. You were there in California. I'm here in Brazil. And we don't know where people are watching this today live. And we don't know when they are watching on replay. But once you put your message out there, it's uncanny. It's like uh, I'm just missing the word right now. You cannot tell how much or how long or how far your message is gonna go.
Right, right. That's so true, And it's just it's like you really don't know after all my years of education, and teaching and teaching different subjects, right? And so, but the one subject that always seemed to have the most amount of breakthroughs, I was an algebra teacher. So I taught algebra. And every year on the first day of school, every student who walked in, because I would always meet my students at the door and say, "Hi, how are you? I'm going to be your teacher. We're going to have fun." And they were, and inevitably the students, especially the high school students, say, "We're not going to have fun. This is math. I don't do well in math. I hate math. Math hates me. I'm only here because I have to be." And it was like the story was all of these negative stories that they had and horror stories that I heard from other math teachers they had. And so at the beginning of the class, I remember so well, every year I would say, "Okay, so here's the deal. I will do everything in my power to make sure that you guys all pass this class, provided that you do everything in your power to make sure you succeed." And then it was like, "Oh, wow, I'm going to pass this class." So the kids would, they would say like, "Oh, wow, no one's ever told me I'm going to pass the class at the beginning." And I would tell them, "You are all going to pass the class. There's just no way you cannot pass this class unless you totally hate me and you throw eggs at me or you throw eggs at my car or whatever, then you're going to pass the class. So I want you to know that because you're going to put in the work." And they were like, "Oh, wow, it's so different. Nobody's ever said that." So at some point, and I didn't, that just came naturally for me, right? It was like I wanted to be that person to give them the confidence they needed to succeed. And when I remember so clearly, so many students, but one student had taken the same math class 5 times and never passed it.
No.
And so after class that first day, she comes back, she was crying, and she says to me, "No one has ever told me that I could pass this class or that I was going to pass this class." She said, "You've inspired me and I'm going to pass the class." And she did. She got a B plus. And she was like, "I went from 5 Fs to a B plus." And she said, "And I think it was all because of the confidence you gave me the first day of class." And so I think that's what you're doing with us. And I put myself in your, general audience, right? I'm a mom too. I'm an old mom because I have adult children, pero ni modo, ¿verdad? Tienen que crecer todo. But yeah, that just sharing, when you teach me to share that, you said, that coffee right now, you said, just share the coffee. You went to a coffee shop and the coffee was really, really good. And I'm going like, oh my gosh, how simple. I don't go to a coffee shop. I make my own coffee
Talk
because,
about your coffee that you make. About
yeah, but it's like I look forward to my one cup of coffee every day.
just now before coming, to meeting with you, I was just going to my mom's kitchen, and my mom's has many glasses, little containers that sometimes we buy jelly, and then
Uh-huh,
once you clean the label, it's transparent, and you have the lid with little different colors. And then I was remembered that I do the same thing in my home. I save them, and then I put like little nuts or little like things that I usually open the package is plastic, and then I don't want to seal or like put like some clip on it, and then I put in the little container,
uh-huh,
glass container, and I put the lid on, and then I have on my kitchen. And then I just thought I'm gonna film this here at my mom's home, and then I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna film mine. We're gonna see how these stories, the family traditions, connects over the time. And then just gonna create like a little curiosity on people, what do you share with your family? What do you see, from your mom that you do now as an adult? So,
right,
just little thing that I was seeing, I was like, oh, I can do a story here. I can do a little short or reel, and then just bring this to my, my
oh,
content. And right now, the story that you told, you just can grab from this video and tell the story about your teaching in algebra and how can people can use things from that experience and bring to the business. And
right,
this piece right now, it's a piece of content for you, and it's a real experience. So that's where people wanna see and hear and be inspired by real stories.
right,
Just saying, "Oh, I teach this," I just tell women that they can do, but like, wow, how can you say that? How can you tell the experience that you live? And then you can do like I share a lot the things that I went through, how I wasn't able to camera, how I felt that I was, good enough to be on camera. I wasn't say good enough, but like I wasn't confident enough. So I'm not confident I cannot be on camera, but if I not come on camera, I'm not gonna be confident. So all
right.
this, and just today was reading this message that I want to try to find who I heard from. Or I think it was from an interview on a podcast from Jasmine and someone else, and she said. The discomfort today, it's confidence tomorrow, it's confidence later. So
Ah,
it discomfort, it's not comfortable to be or do things different that you're not used to. But
exactly.
doing this and getting the courage to do that, is going to give you the confidence later. And I use a lot the word courage because when I was doing things, as I mentioned before, I was like, "Oh, I'm fearless. I fearless. I do this," and like I was doing scared, and like I'm not fearless. I'm courageous. I
There you
just,
go.
and that's what we have to do. We have to be courageous because fear might be there, might come with us. Come on, me, fear. Come on, me. Come, watch me do it. Watch me do it.
Right,
That's what we have
right.
to do because sometimes we just cannot get rid of fear. It's just something that we just okay. It's here. It's something. It's
Yeah,
a warning. It's because it's good. It's something that I haven't done before because I
exactly.
haven't been here. I haven't been talking on camera. Like coming on live video, like many things, like just like I cannot find the right word,
Mm,
Marty. I just cannot find it. I just me learning English. Like I just get something else. I just try to find a different way to communicate. So that's what I do. And the same thing when you're just getting ready for something, try something different.
no,
And with video, you can just like chop a little bit and just get the message out. And that's what I teach people.
uh,
You just learn to record and then you chop, you get a scissor, you got a snippet from the editing tool. It can take something out. You don't have to come live. I started doing lives just to not get the urge to edit everything and take longer to come on video.
okay,
Now that
okay. That's
I
a
have,
good one.
I know techniques that I can do to make it easier for you, for the audience that it can want to do the video. It's better. Like you don't have to come live because it's really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable to come live and recording the videos and not knowing who's going to be watching. You just might want to turn off, like when somebody comes live and you just pray that nobody comes live. But I have those video lives. I have those videos just to prove that I did that.
So, otra pregunta. Okay, so this is a question that comes to me often, being that I'm a bilingual podcaster, ¿verdad? Oh, I speak my two languages. I speak actually three, but my podcast is Spanish, English. So I did have a question that I would love to share with you and hear what you have to say. So this person said to me, why do you speak some English and some Spanish? Why can't you just speak one language? What do you say to people who are bilingual?
I find it wonderful that you do that. I sometimes if I like in a interview or something, I even by the end I say ciao, beijo, like it bye kisses in Portuguese. But it just like I think it brings you your personality. That it like you in your podcast name, it already says it's for Latina, so it brings a little. I think in your case it's very like a juice part. Some people you understand, some people want. I know that you're not gonna get something that since this is for a broad audience, it's for like mostly an English speaking also. You're not gonna just share a message for an important part of your podcast in Spanish, but it's just kind of little. It's kind of put like a little sound or a little music, and on the story on the video part, I find this wonderful. I find this, and if you are a bilingual, if you're like a Spanish speaker, and then you're still learning a lot of English and you don't remember the word, and you can just don't curse. If you're not used to curse, don't curse a video. But just a la pucha, or like I don't know, like a word like you could say when you don't remember something, like don't say a bad word. I'm thinking about a bad word now, but I'm not gonna say.
No bad word.
No bad words. But I think it brings your personality.
Okay.
So that's like I really think you just should keep doing, because every time you do that, this is Marty. Like it just, and that's gonna be like a memorable. Like that's Marty. That's how she does. That's her podcast. Nobody else does that but Marty. So if somebody does something else, that's on them. But I like that every time you see that, otra pregunta. It's just you put it there like another question, or you can even say that and then say it again in English.
Yep.
But just to get a little touch. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. I could be here for forever, but I know that I want to respect your time, and also to the time of my my audience, who I tell them that this podcast is drive time podcast, so that they can get to where they're going and still listen to it and pick up some tidbits, right? So one of the things, real quick question, and then I'm going to ask you also, where can people find you? One real quick question: what is the number one thing that you would say to people to begin to get confidence? What could they do to begin to get confidence?
Believe in your message.
Okay.
If there's two things, you are the best speak person for your product or service. Nobody is gonna tell better about how you serve, what you do, or what you sell than you. You know better than anybody else. So if you want to put a message out there about that, you are the best one to come and speak and serve your audience.
Perfect.
Believing on that is going to already bring your confidence, because you're going to focus on the message, not on anything else.
There you go. So let me just go, summarize it. Let me use my educational skills to summarize. Okay. So you said, say the message, but believe in the message that you're saying, so that when you say the message, it comes across authentically, because it is you. Yes or no? Sí
Yes.
o no?
Yes, please see.
Great. Oh yeah. So thank you so much for being on here. But where can, if people want to follow you, want to find some more information about you, where are you on social media?
I'm everywhere. As I am Simone Mony. It's IMAAM SIMONEMONY. So like
Perfect.
Instagram, Facebook, anywhere social media.
Oh, that is so amazing. So, if for those of you that are listening, I will also drop her link in the show notes if you're watching us today on the Coach Marty Angel YouTube channel. Gracias. And you will find the information below. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel and you're watching the replay, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, because when you do that, it helps me be able to spread the messages to more and more Latinas, BIPOC women, mujerpreneurs. And that's what we need, porque juntas podemos más. Together we can do more. So, make sure that you give us some love, share the message. And as always, gracias, Simone. I'm so happy and I'm so excited because this turned out so well. You're in Brazil. Oh my gosh, in Brazil. And I'm over here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yet we're still communicating through the power of technology. So many people say, technology is bad. But in this case, this is a perfect example of why technology is so needed and so good for us. Simone, eres una hermosa. Gracias por estar
Muchas
aquí.
gracias.
Abrazos, muchos besitos. I hope you have the best time. And as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this podcast will drop next week. You can see it here, but it will drop on the audios. It will be out on the audios anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast shows, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're there. So make sure that you download the episode so you can hear it anytime. You don't have to be connected to the internet in order to hear it if you download it. And that also, and share it out, because Simone and myself, we, thrive on helping mujerpreneurs succeed. So gracias por estar aquí, Simone. Eres una hermosura. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Mari. Besos a todos.
Okay.